All right. Okay, so you are in the strange quantum state of logged in and not logged in at the same time.
I haven't logged in once yet. The only name which is not is Connie.
Oh dear. Let me try logging out.
I show you fully loaded in, Dave. Are you sure?
Yeah.
What do I look like?
I haven't seen your name on the list yet.
Oh, your name was all in white.
You look blue like me.
Oh, hold
Okay,
on.
I'm logging in as me.
Was you logged
We'll
in as
see.
me?
I don't think I was. I don't think so.
You claimed the title of Dave for your own.
Take a bit of identity theft to kick the session off.
No, I can't. I wouldn't be able to do Gurkal any justice.
Well, thank you. I am me now, so you should be you.
I am me. Yes.
Wow, we're getting into this whole philosophical thing now. If you log in as me, then does that mean I'm you? But no, I haven't logged in yet. So that means does that mean I'm anybody if I'm not logged? Oh dear, my head, it hurts.
Beatles song and it. I am
The next
me,
Halloween
you are me,
theme.
and we are really all together.
Well,
As long
bearing in
as Jay is not in charge, we'll be good.
mind. Just remember how many drugs those guys were taking at that particular point in time, and it all starts to make sense. As Bill Hicks once said, they were so high they even let Ringo sing a song. So. Right, in the meantime, whilst I give folks a chance to load in, I'm going to turn off the ship rumble and the intro music and take us over to our intro video where we'll be back in a couple of moments. Folks, stay tuned. Hello folks, and welcome along to the continuing adventures of the USS Combs. I'm MJ the GM, and I will be your games master for the next couple of hours, and with me are the entire crew of the Combs.
Yay!
You do not need to know the insanity that was being discussed during the intro video, so for the sake of everybody's sanity, we will pass that one by. But before we get involved in things, Mr. Chris, take it away.
Hello, same old for me at the moment. Got my retro review channel with the Yakuza video out. Currently working on season 3, starting with Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. I've got a week off work now, so I'm going to be really trying to put the pedal to the metal on that. So yeah, coming soon, TM.
Nice. Okay. Right then, folks, can I just confirm whether or not everybody is successfully signed in, can see everything, can interact with their characters, and can hear Sirenscape?
Yep, I can.
Oui.
Neato burrito. Okay, let's take this off to one side for a moment. Okay, right then. So, first things first, before we get started, because folks have a tendency to forget, I'm going to remind folks that you all have a claim to the tune of 4. So if you want to spend a claim now would be the time to do it before we get started into the meat of the episode proper. So,
Can I ask
Yes.
why have I...
Sorry, go on, you first.
Why have I got 1 reprimand?
That's been worked off now, hasn't it? So, oh wait, no, the reprimand was for failed mission,
Tavish,
wasn't it? So Tavish shouldn't have it. Yes, taken away. Taken away.
I was going to say, I don't think Tavish should have the acclaim either. She was not part of it.
Good point. Well made. But for the sake of the fact that you did play as one of the supporting characters, it's a place to put it, so we can put it as Ensign Kenson's acclaim. Or at the very least, Tavish's acclaim to spread about whichever of your supporting characters that you want to spread it out about.
What can I do with that acclaim for?
Well, let's go to deck 1 so we can have a look at everybody. Everybody.
I'm going to have a spare acclaim if we've got 4, if anyone wants it. So I'm going to do the incredibly simple thing and buy a star cross. I'll spend that now. But if anyone needs a spare 1, because they cost 3 each, let me know if anyone needs a spare acclaim.
So update your acclaim total. It's on your character sheet underneath career events.
Just closed it, sorry.
Well,
Right.
It takes just a double click to open it back up again, so you should be fine. I see another star cross. Yes, indeed you do.
Can we put the reputation track up for our supporting characters?
Absolutely you can. They start as a default of 3.
You know what? Let's
3?
put it up. Let's put it up to 4 for Ensign Kenson.
Alrighty, so you're spending all of it.
Yes.
Alright then, no problem.
I know technically we're enemies with the Klingons,
Yo.
but I think us and the Mapui crew are, tight. So, can I? We're only enemies in terms of name, but in all other aspects, I think we're bros and friends. So can I gain favor with the captain of the Mapui?
Considering you guys got involved and, saved the ship from going kaboom last time, I think that's more than reasonable. That will likely cost you... Well, let's see, it's a captain, but of a different polity, so it's probably going to cost you 3.
Alright.
So that's not bad at all. So you can either stick that in your character notes, or there's a little notes section on the bottom left of your character sheet. You can jot it in there as well, or instead.
Oh.
Entirely up to you where you would like to put that note. But yes, gain favour with Captain Akul of the Mapui is agreeable. Pretty sensible, actually, considering the actions you guys took last time. So, yeah. No problems there at all.
Excellent. So I have 1 spare.
You
Can't
do have
spend
1 spare.
that, so if I'm happy to put that in the pool.
Okay, so we've got a pool of 2. Let me put it in the momentum pool to represent that. Yes, Liz.
I'm using my acclaim to see about promoting Bonnet.
Promoting Bonnet. Okay, cool. Which will cost you 3 acclaim with 1 left over, so there's a lot of that going on. I will say... Again, considering the actions you guys took, I'm up for all of that happening in between this the last episode and this one, so... Let's knock you back down to 3 reputation. Let's change you from Ensign Bonnet to Lieutenant Junior Grade.
Did I get my promotion, or?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. You will have gotten
2
yours
other.
too.
Lieutenant Commander, I am at the position I wanted to be.
That's a good point.
Does Flask take over as well?
Hmm?
I put in for a promotion yonks ago.
Yes, you did. So now's as good a time as any to start putting these promotions in. So it'll be a nice big promotion ceremony. So let's... so Flask wants to be Commander Flask now. Okay. Which makes sense. 2nd officer. Also operations officer. You should, by rights, be one of the higher roles on the ship. Tavish's reputation goes back down to 3. Gurkha, you've just spent yours for... I forget. Connie, did you put Gurkha in for a promotion as well? I don't think you did, but I could be wrong.
Might have been in season 1.
Might have been in season 1. Alrighty.
Well, how much is it to put in? Because we got 2 spare acclaim. Gurkha could put in and still get stuff if we chucked all the spare acclaim at her.
Yeah, good point. You've got 1 left over and there's 2 spare. You could definitely put in for 1. And get it.
Oh.
So I realise you've got food in your mouth at this particular point in time, but is that a yes, or a no, or a later?
I'm happy if everyone accepts this proposition.
Spiffing. Lieutenant Commander it is, and about time.
I am the man now.
Yes. Even that, does that challenge her value? Maybe. She has become the man.
I've just realised that I may have to do the night shift and be in the captain's chair.
Yes. Well, Blesk technically
promotion.
comes first.
Okay.
As far as beta or delta shift goes. So yeah, he's at least on one of those ones. Well, Chris, that leaves you to spend a claim. I mean, everyone else seems to be putting in for promotion.
I'm a man of the people, I think. So I'm just going to continue on my sort of quest to pimp the posse. And so I think the last thing I need to do really is just assign the EMD his own Legion of Honor, if I can afford that at the moment.
Ah, yeah. So Legion of Honor is usually 3. If I recall. No, it's 4, so you've got exactly as much as you need to assign the EMD a Legion of Honor. Okay, yeah, fine.
There we go. Now we all got a do-over.
What's the promotion track for medical? Does he become Professor Sot?
Well, no, technically you still have ranks like anybody else. Technically, Dr. Sot is still a lieutenant. It's just that as a result of being a doctor, the chief medical officer at that, he's got the ability to medically override anybody on the ship, as long as he can justify it through, So yes,
he has the power.
He does. So the fact that he's still a lowly lieutenant, in a way, is kind of a testament to Dr. Sot's quiet modesty, maybe? Or the fact that if he does need to at any point override a superior officer based on medical grounds, it would sting that much more for you to be reduced to below a lieutenant. So, it could be that too.
It's also the beard.
Well, the beard is just awe-inspiring anyway. So.
Authority.
So that's all the authority he needs. His medical uniform and his beard. So, that was pretty quick. That was pretty cool. So, everybody happy with their acclaim spends? Most folks have jumped up in rank.
Oui.
So, let's get on with other stuff, which is namely science. Now, the interesting thing about the science project is that we are close to finishing Flesk's one for creating AI repair droids. But I believe a certain chief engineer was looking to start implementing a new drive system for the ship.
I am, yes. The question I was going to ask is, I had two two ideas for science projects, and I didn't know which one would be actually faster to do.
Okay.
And more urgent to do. So the first one was to implement the spore drive completely into the combs without the use of myself, Gurkow, and Bonnet.
Yes, so that was mostly the point of it being a science project.
Yes, and the other one was to start implementing countermeasures and stuff to stop the Borg from taking over the ship systems if they ever came aboard.
So essentially extra security for the main computer or the main ship systems.
Yes. I don't know which one would be faster to do and which one would be more urgent. I kind of want to take it to the rest of the crew to see which one they would like me to do.
I think the spore drive.
Yeah, I like the spore drive the most, but that's definitely not the quickest.
Yeah, it's gonna. The spore drive I will have to get pretty much the whole crew involved at some point.
So yeah, the spore drive. I had a thought. I had a couple of thoughts about it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into the individual subsystems you're going to need to implement in order to get it to work, which of course gives you the opportunity to improve on the rough and ready one that you made a good few episodes ago. So I've broken it up into the things you would need to do in order, more or less. So it's essentially a 5-part project. One leads on to the next. So the first thing, if you wanted to do that, I mean, it seems folks are rough and ready for the spore drive. So
it's got a new name, by the way.
Yes, it does. The Aurora drive, which I have noted down. So the first thing you're going to need to implement will be the equivalent of the reaction cube. The reaction cube is that contained area, which I believe we put in engineering last, if I can just find that a second. Sickbay, primary systems, main engineering, there it is. Bop. Where did we put it? Here it is. So the reaction cube is basically this shielded place, currently in engineering, that you then fill to a certain saturation point with mycelial spores that then creates this quantum bridging effect, so you link the material universe that you're in to the mycelial subspace realm, and that specific area acts as an intermediary point that allows the combs to be able to translate from one realm to the next. You used the specifications found in the Discoveries records to create the rough and ready. I'll be using that term a lot, rough and ready, because it was a bodge job slapped together in a couple of hours. So it was, as such, less refined than it possibly could be. So if you have any ideas for how you would like to go about making the reaction cube that much better, maybe keeping it in engineering, maybe putting it somewhere else on the ship, it's now up to you. So but if this is a science project, then we go about this the way we have been with most of our science projects, which would be that we have a guess as to what different fields of investigation we use for it. I will then choose which one I think is the correct one, and then you just keep plugging away at the different avenues of investigation until you hit upon the right one. So we can have between 3 and 5 potential avenues of investigation to construct this reaction cube, so which ones do you think would make the most sense? Obviously, you're going to defer, as most would, to utilizing fields of expertise that you've got available to your crew. Makes sense. So,
just the cube. Would that,
yeah.
is that more of a power system or is it more of a navigation?
You see, it's neither. It's not a power system, it's not a navigation system. Like I mentioned, it's more of the quantum bridging effect. It suffuses an area of the ship with mycelial energy that then allows that energy to essentially be used to alter the quantum resonance of the ship so that it can then enter into the mycelial realm. You can think of it as almost like a plug. When you empty the bath, it creates a point between two places.
So, probably something to do with science then, wouldn't it? Then.
Well, one would hope that pretty much everything has to do with science here, but yes.
Well, with the science department and maybe the medical as well, because that was the whole reason we didn't want to harm the
mycelial realm. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. So there would be that consideration made, yes. That is a darn good point, actually. Could you incorporate a system into the reaction cube such that you would allow the ship to travel through the mycelial realm at speed without harming the mycelial realm? Well, there you go. This is an opportunity to improve on the previous design by adding in new features. So, yeah, that's a good consideration to make. So yeah, which fields of investigation do you think are suitable here then?
Well, I think something like, I don't know.
Anyone else with any ideas then? Go on, Dave.
I was gonna say something like to do with like quantum mechanics. But I don't know if anybody's got anything to do with quantum mechanics.
Connie?
Ensign aversion.
Yeah.
There you go. Put your boy forwards. I like the triumphant way you said that. Ensign aversion.
Time to shine.
I almost imagine it's a bit funny because Gurkhau's so short, being a Tellarite, but patting him on the head, my boy.
I could probably get away with using experimental technology.
Oh, absolutely. In this regard, that would be the equivalent of Gurkhau's God Focus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this is all now technically experimental technology, which makes a degree of sense because it allows Tavish to be fully involved in her own project from start to finish. So, keeping that there is all good.
So, the quantum mechanics, we're trying not to harm the mycelial
realm, yes.
Mycelial realm. So, I'm sure we had the Doctor helping with that aspect, didn't we? When we were during that episode.
It's in my silly realm. Thanks, Mark. It now has a new name. There we are.
My silly realm.
Well, actually, considering what happened on the last episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, where it seems that the writers inferred that Star Trek Discovery's continuity is actually an alternative reality. Anyway,
I think it'd be. I feel like
well, Gurkhau does have botany, which means that the
Yes.
plant-based side of things could be taken up by Chief of Science herself.
Yes.
Whereas Dr. Sott, his specialities are very much in medicine, but also philosophy. So he's a very thoughtful soul, this Sott.
I feel like actually probably Dr. Sott would be later on in the project where we can sort out the navigation
Yes.
aspect of it, and
Pardon me.
making sure that people don't have to, have things stuck in their head, surgically to use this. So going back to the whole botany thing, so yeah, we've got the kind of quantum, the first part of the project. Second part of the project is sorting out, going through the realm without harming the mycelial realm.
So the advantage you've got there is that whilst you were on the mycelial construct that Captain Sobek got stuck in those many episodes ago, before then Gurkha was very, very studious in taking as many samples of mycelial life as she could. So as such, you also gathered as many... You sped bread, which is something I never thought I'd say. You speed bread, speed bread? Not sure. A load of Prototaxites stella Vittoriae, which is the actual fungal life form that is used to create the mycelial spores.
We then to say we swear it never happened before.
So you had samples that were then brought to maturity faster than they normally would, but I've always been under the assumption that Gurkha has kept a load, probably in the hydroponics bay, since.
You know it.
So probably like, I don't know, I hate to kind of use this words, but kind of experimenting to see what kind of energies affect the mycelial realm through them, and to figure out basically a system so we can go through without harming anything which is in that realm.
Yeah, makes sense.
Through kind of experimentation on those life forms, though I do know that Starfleet do not like us experimenting on life forms.
Well, at the moment, as far as you're aware, the mycelial life forms themselves are still simple life. As far as you are still aware, the mycelial fungi are not really sentient, except with a few notable exceptions. For the most part, it's like they use a form of telepathy to communicate between the different plants. But for the most part, they are still, as far as I'm aware, mostly non-sentient. So it's not as if you have a conversation with them and say, "Hey, does this hurt or does this not?" But
actually, that could actually work.
Potentially.
Well, we do have a counsellor.
You do. So this is now starting to branch out of quantum science into the realm of quantum biology, almost. Telepathy as well. You're heading into realms of... Oh, what did the Betazoids call it? The actual science of the mind.
Can we do those? Can we... So, the three I'm thinking is quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics for one. Okay, cool.
And this is just for the the system which is going to allow us to go in and out.
Yep.
God, this is huge. I just realised how huge this science project is. Actually.
That's good that you're getting a grasp on the magnitude of all of this. So.
What was it?
Quantum mechanics first. Yep.
Quantum mechanics first. Quantum. What did you say? Quantum.
Oof. Quantum biology, I think I said.
Yeah. Quantum biology. Second.
Uh-huh.
What's the third one? I can't think of a third one. If anybody can come up with a third one, I would really appreciate that.
So this is for creating the reaction cube to specifications. We've got quantum mechanics, potentially quantum biology, any other field of investigation you can think to essentially create a
reinforcing containment.
BTEC science.
What was that, sorry, Chris?
BTEC science.
BTEC science.
I'd say think around containment, knowing how to safely develop this kind of technology and modify it. So if it goes kaboom in a very specific area of the ship and not the whole ship.
And nothing but the ship. Alright, so quantum mechanics, quantum biology, and containment are the three offered avenues of investigation. Everybody happy with those?
I am, yeah.
So the question now becomes, which one do you want to try and investigate first?
Let's start off with the quantum biology. I feel like that would be a great start to finding out
Now, the advantage you have is that you have attempted this kind of thing before, as I have mentioned. So the amount of steps necessary to complete each of the 5 different parts of this immense project have been lowered as a result that, you've already done it once. So you've got that going for you. It will not take a tremendous amount of time, but you've got the opportunity now to improve on the design of some of those aspects of the project that you didn't have time to otherwise. So if we are looking to go with quantum biology first, well, next we need to select those who are going to be investigating quantum biology. So who do you want?
I guess when it comes to biology, I shouldn't probably lead, but I can help.
Definitely help. Yeah, that's a good point. Tavish should really take part in her own project.
Yes. Though I'm with kind of Dr. Stott. I don't think she should be leading this part of the project. So it's dependent on if Connie would like to be part of this. How many can we get?
Up to 5 dice worth of dice in total in the pool. So that's 1 main and 3 helpers, if you want to go that way.
Yeah. So it's up to Connie. I would like to get Councillor Sachs involved.
Oh.
But,
okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, if you have 2 from somebody, say Councillor Sachs, and then you have Gurkow and Tavish and Sot. That's 3 helpers right there.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so someone's going to have to be Councillor Sachs, so who wants the responsibility? Bar?
Sure.
So, Chris, you're giving us Dr. Sot with reason and medicine, I suppose?
Sure.
But I can't see any of any of Dr. Sot's foci that really apply here, so it's just pure talent from Dr. Sot. Tavish, it's 1 dice, but with your focus on experimental tech.
Is that science and reason?
That's going to be... Yeah, at this juncture it's definitely going to be science and reason. And same goes for Gurkow, who is doing 1 dice rather than 2. You can definitely use your botany
Oof.
for this, and it's going to be 2 dice for Councillor Sachs. And the rolls, oh my god, the rolls. Okay. Everyone else is grasping the magnitude.
Alright, 2 dice for Councillor Sachs. What should I roll? Also, what's going on with Councillor Sachs? Has no career path, no experience, no role.
Well, that's because she's a supporting character.
Okay.
She appeared on the crew when you needed a counsellor, so she was built as if she was a supporting character, which she is. So she's not a player character, so there's not as much detail in there as. But if you want me to put more detail in there, then I can. But for the moment, she has had a couple of things put up.
I just never noticed that. What the hell? I've got a reprimand on Flesk. Sorry, distracted. What am I rolling? Sorry.
So
Two
for
dice
2 dice, it's going to be for... Ooh, we are asking for her knowledge about telepathic communication with creatures, basically. So this is going to be reason and medicine.
Reason and medicine?
And
Cool.
she's got to focus on
Empathy.
telepathic location,
Cool.
which isn't necessarily the same thing, but it'll do. It's essentially using her telepathy one way or the other. So a Betazoid in this regard should count as having a focus. So I will leave it that way. Kind of semi-nebulous.
I'm just looking at her talents. Is anything here useful? Nope. She's got a Legion of Honor, but no, don't need that.
Well, you gave her that Legion of Honor because you were tired of her being rubbish with her rolls, if I remember.
Yeah. So it's on standby, right? 2 dice with a focus. Off you go. Okay.
Okay,
Well-
not bad, not bad. Could have been worse. So, with 5 dice, we succeeded to get 3 successes. So, not bad at all. Okay, so this is investigating quantum biology. Now, if I got Dave's the spirit of Dave's words correct, this is mostly because you are basing your investigation to see how well you can create this conversion ratio of ship to mycelial realm compatibility, such that you can not harm the realm as you go through it. So that's what this is mainly concerned with. There's some good ideas being bandied about. Councillor Sachs puts in her 2 cents about if they do communicate using a telepathic method of communication, that would suggest that each plant has got its own psionic field, or at the very least has got, in a similar way to all plants give off nerve conduction electricity like any other thing with a nervous system, because, what was it, cabbages feel pain, that kind of thing. You can certainly work to alter the ship's resonance so that it is not harmful to the telepathic field of the mycelial realm. The rest requires a bit of jiggery and pokery. To wit, Dr. Sott put in a good note that if you want to pass through the area without causing any damage, then you have to essentially become part of the local ecosystem, and so tearing through the place without ripping the place up means you have to get the ratio of speed correct and make it so that you don't create some kind of like jet wash in your wake that disturbs the place as you go past at great speed. So yeah, lots of things to consider. And so the numbers are on the whiteboard and being worked on and worked down. So far, very interesting. Even if this avenue of investigation doesn't result in everything you want, it at least is the avenue that you wanted to go in as far as protect the mycelial realm from any damage. So it's a good one to investigate nonetheless. Let us jump quickly back then to the AI droids for repairing the ship that Flesk was nearly done with his current avenue of investigation, which was using ancient power sources.
Yep. So most people got pulled into that, but the captain's still available.
Yes, the captain's still available. Folks with ancient power sources as a focus would be helpful, but generic power sources would also be helpful, I suppose, which means Bonnet is in there. Any of the engineering lot, except for the chief. Spoilt for choice, really.
For Bonnet. I think I'll go for Bonnet.
The captain and Bonnet.
Yeah.
Okie dokes. So in that case, let's have... Connie, do you fancy being the captain?
Oh, alright.
Your best Vulcan bud. So he's going to be giving us reason and science with invention, essentially, as his focus. Whereas Bonnet, Liz, if you could give us 1 dice with reason and... Reason and science would make another good one for Bonnet, with a focus on power systems. Flask, likewise, 2 dice with focus on power systems and such.
Cool.
Oh, it was almost a 1, but Sobek still got a success. Nice, nice, nice.
Ooh.
And the same goes for Bonnet. So now it's all down to the man himself, who got 2 successes, 4 overall. Where are we? Yep, so you complete that line of investigation. It doesn't give you the end result you want, but you've at least studied those ancient batteries and some of the ancient alien tech that you've come across as a way of compacting very powerful power creation methods into a smaller container. So, at the very least, you've constructed the means by which these individual little repair droids will be powered. But since they're going to be docked with the ship, they can probably recharge, but you've at least managed to create the means by which they will be able to operate for longer periods of time between recharge. So there's that. So,
I have a question before we move on, and I'll say what. What do I need to spend? I can't remember, because the milestones got renamed, and I can't remember what. If I want to switch out one of the talents on the ship, am I spending an adjustment? What are they called?
So, if you wanted to switch something on the ship, if you want to adjust one of the ship's systems, it's a milestone. If you want to swap one of the ship's talents, that is a milestone. Or what used to be a medium milestone.
Cool, I can't do that. It's because I've just noticed something. And it's clearly a switch from first edition to second edition. High-resolution sensors are no longer as awesome as they were, because it says, and I've only just seen this as I was scrolling through all the systems on the ship, bonus momentum may not be saved.
Yes.
And I had to double check because I didn't realise that. So, nuts. So, when I get a milestone, what are they called?
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. I will be switching out the high resolution sensors because there are other options instead. If everyone's happy with that. Just because it's not the momentum farm it used to be.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff now gives you extra momentum that you have to use then and there for stuff related to the system. So my guess there is, if I look at advanced sensor suites, you can re-roll on any sensors related rolls, but the high resolution sensors gives you a bonus point of momentum, probably for things like obtaining information.
Yeah.
So you can ask questions of the GM.
Which makes sense.
Immediately.
Yeah, we were quite broken how much we could bank before the mission really started, so it makes sense.
Which is probably why they switched it out, yes. So there we go. Okay. So yes, for future reference, that will be what you will need to switch that system out. Yes. Okay.
Because I have an idea. But yeah, awesome. That was it.
Oh, really? Dare I ask? Or are you saving that as a surprise for next time?
Can I just share this? No. The adaptive shield modulator. Only requirement is 24th century or later. We're in the 24th century.
Yar.
It increases resistance by 1, and the ship can have its shields raised when operating in silent mode or silent running. So we don't have to sacrifice shields to be sneaky.
Interesting.
So I like the sound of that. Mostly because it also increases the ship resistance by 1.
Mm.
There was another one which was even more broken, but you have to be in the 25th century.
Yes.
And I read
yes.
that, and I was like, this is insane.
There's a lot of silly tech that comes along in the 25th century. We're not there yet, so yeah.
So it increases shields by 5 and resistance by 3. It was bonkers.
I'm kind of worried now. Because you said we're not there yet.
Well, technically, the current year that this is taking part in is 2373. So you're still, like 27 years away from the 25th century, so you're not there yet. So by the time you get there, most of the folks here will be a bit older. Yes, Liz?
By that time, Bonnet should be a captain.
Well, let's hope.
And the rest of the crew should be admirals.
Yes. So, before we move on to the next bit, we've spent a lot of time doing science, which is great. But what avenue of investigation does Flask want to take next time? You've now used ancient power sources. The ones you identified that you want to investigate were engineering AI, replicators, and emergency repairs.
Ooh, I had a note for what to do next. Replication was the next one I had lined up. But emergency repairs, engineering specific AI. But yeah, we could do engineering specific AI. So, no, because I can't call in Tavish as she's got her own now. Yeah, emergency repair.
Emergency repair is the next one. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Right on. Okay, so that'll have to wait till next time. So, unless anybody else has got any science projects they want to get started on, which, considering we're now looking to add a displacement-activated spore hub drive to the Combs' considerable arsenal. Ooh. Speaking of arsenal, let us move now to the Klingon War campaign. Now, it bears mentioning at this particular point in time that this is what's called the midpoint of the war. So the war has ramped up somewhat, which means rather than just 5 points of interest, which does include the episode that we're about to play through, there are now 6. So, But, as we can see, you have quite a few assets on your side now. So you've got a medical commander with Gatrell, you've got a expendable resource with criminal contact, you've got lots of ships. In fact, you've got almost all of the ships in the thing, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Supply drop as well.
You got the supply drop in the Kuchullen and the
right.
Sitting Bull, if I recall. Or was it Criminal Contacts? But what you argue is that you have got 12 progression points, which means you could spend twice on the progression table to get even more stuff. But stuff that comes through the progression table sometimes has to be actioned immediately.
Considering we got a military 5 there, I'd say we should spend twice.
Everybody else good with that?
It might as well.
Mhm.
But
Rather than hearing a yes, I heard a yit from somebody.
Let's do it.
That was an enthusiastic yes. Alright,
Yes.
so we are looking for 2 spends on progression, so I'm going to roll those bones. You get...
Just
Ooh!
going. Oh, sorry.
New asset gained. Gain a random asset. Ooh. What will it be? What will it be? A character asset. If you currently have 2 or fewer character assets. How many characters do we have? We've got Gatrell, we've got Rayner, and we've got Captain Suren and Admiral Hardin. So instead of getting a character, you get a ship. Another new ship. Get rid of that for a moment. What new ship do we get? Another new ship. Spoiling you. The Cuchulainn, we've already got the Cuchulainn. So we will re-roll that one. The Alba, do we have the Alba?
I think we did, didn't we? Yep, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
Good lord. Who don't you have? The Sitting
Let's
Bull?
see.
No, we've got him as well.
Yeah, we got the Alba, we got the Sitting Bull, we got the Corolla.
The Lexington.
We don't have that one.
We don't have the Lexington.
That's the
Let's
new
have
one.
the Lexington.
Yeah, because we have the Raynar's Curiosity, the Omnis, the Mercia, the Alba, the Stargazer, the Sitting Bull, the Ghost, and the Kuhula.
So now you've got the Lexington. Good lord. So you've now got a Nebula class ship as well. So another one to stick in there. But that was just your first check on the progression table. What's number 2? Oh, I'm interested now. Federation...
Difficulty.
What was that, sorry?
Hopefully something to reduce difficulty.
So, Federation commits resources. You gain a resource asset. Resource asset. So this is a one-shot expenditure type thing. So let's see what we get. Surprising crew member. Whatever that means. Well, it means you get somebody you didn't expect turn up.
As long as they're a good surprise, not a bad surprise.
Well, let's see. We've got somebody who's got pretty good personal
And science.
and pretty good science. So someone who's good, is quick to respond, is good at one-on-one conflicts, and has got a pretty decent science score. So there you go. That's what we've got.
Ooh,
So you
and-
benefited quite nicely there.
and there's a personal science task right there. Tactical.
Yep. Uh-huh.
So it sounds like you're getting words, Matt. You're using your surprise crew member.
Yeah,
Right away.
Because we really struggled with the military 5-1, the enemy captain. We kind of said
Yeah.
this time we were going to throw everything at everything else to try and build up that momentum. And then have the USS Ghost roll, if we can bank 5 momentum, roll all 5 dice, just the USS Ghost on that tactical captain, because it was the only thing that got successes.
Yeah,
And we
you
need
need
five.
The only thing
to get 6 momentum to give the full 5 dice. So yeah.
Alright, so surprising crew goes on the tactical on the first tactical.
Boy.
We need 2 successes.
Well, let's deal with the
Mhm.
first one then. What else? So you need 2 successes, so that's banking on the surprising crew member giving you at least 1. Someone else with a reasonably good science is the Cuchulainn.
The
Ooh,
Alba
if you
has
use the
decent first-
Cuchulainn, the difficulty of science problems is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Boom! That's perfect.
Yeah, that will work. Okay.
Because we can afford to put, if we're only using the Ghost on that one, because how many? 14? Yeah, we could put 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, we can afford to put 3 on every single one. So, do we want to put a third item on it?
Because the name of the game is to generate excess successes
Momentum.
to get more momentum. So yeah, absolutely.
We can always, let's see what we want to put on the other ones as well.
But this is because it's a difficulty 1 now. It's one of the ones where we've got the highest chance to get excess successes.
I'm just looking at. I'm just trying to see what other.
We got
can put
It's all military. It's all military.
Yeah, we can put the Raynar's Curiosity on it as well because it has decent science but very poor military.
Yeah, get rid of all the poor military options.
So you want to use the Randar's Curiosity and the Kuchalen with a surprising crew member to take care of this now Science 1 task. Okay, no problem, Chris. Thank you. Alright then, so in that case, which one of these do you want to be the leader? Because the Kuchalen and the surprising crew member have got equal science rating.
Surprising crew member, because it's funnier. Because it's the same. They're the same mathematically, but it's cooler. It's a surprise.
So,
right.
Mark, you can roll 2 for that. Liz, you can roll for the 1 dice for the Kuchalen, so that means... Connie, do you fancy rolling for the Randar's Curiosity?
Yeah.
Just roll 1 20-sided dice. Ooh, right, a 19 and a 15. Okay. So, what do we got? We got a 3. Ooh, hello, which means it's double.
Whoop.
Oh no, hang on, that was the Randar's Curiosity. Yes, the Randar's Curiosity has got a focus range of 3. So that's 2. Mark, you rolled a 15, which unfortunately is nothing on either of those dice. But Liz, when you rolled on the Kuchalen, you got under what they need. So that is 3. It was down to 1, which means you did generate 2 excess campaign momentum there. So Connie came to the save in there. Well done. Okay, so that is that tactical one done. So, an advanced enemy ship crashed and was recovered. What did they find, I wonder? Right, so let's just... surprising crew member is a once-use thing, so that's gone, but you are left with... So I'm just going to put Randar and Kuchalen over here. Next one is reports indicate frequent enemy patrols in this area. This is a military 2.
But we've got 2 military 2s, 1 military 1.
Yeah.
So do you want to try for the military 1 first? Try and boost your...
Yeah, I think military 1 first. Because we took 2 or 3 resources out. Wait, how many have we got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
right.
7.
I am... spring a little surprise on you then if you are doing this routine one, transportation mission military supplies.
Cool.
There's going to be a surprise because, as you know, I randomly roll for which one of these points of interest gets an event happen that changes things somewhat, and this one is the one that has an event. The local sun is collapsing rapidly. The challenge changes from military to science as the same difficulty.
Ooh.
Oh, that makes it better. Okay.
That's really good.
Yeah, because I was. We can use the Lexington because they have 12-3 science.
Yeah, and we should throw.
And it wasn't that good in military.
Yeah.
What
other science have we got?
There you. I'm also looking to see which ones are still decent in military. Oh, we could use the Mercia for science as well.
Yeah, because that's pretty
science
dreadful.
15-5. Oh yes.
And dreadful military. So yeah, definitely that one. We can't use the criminal contacts on anything because it doesn't have military or science.
Yeah, and then the rest of them have decent military that we could save them for the other 2.
Well, we have 7 resources. We can't use it on the military 5 because they just won't work. We could put 4 and 3 on the others, or we could do 3 on each. Or do you want to do 4 on one of the military 2s?
Let's do 4 on one of the military 2s.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Everybody else good with that?
Yeah.
Dave? And Chris, if he's still here.
Yeah.
All right,
A
so...
lot of the other ones have mediocre military, so...
Right, gotcha. This is the routine transportation mission for military supplies that has changed to a science challenge, so the Mercia and the Lexington are being dispatched. So with that whopping great big Science 15-5, the Mercia makes sense to be the primary, the Lexington the secondary. So, Dave, I'm going to give you the responsibility of being the Mercia, and I'm going to give Chris, who's just come back, the responsibility of rolling me 1 dice for the USS Lexington.
Am I rolling 2?
2 20-sided dice, please.
Do you want me to roll them at the same point?
Yeah. And if I can get Chris to roll a 20-sided dice as well. Oh, that was good. Didn't get double, but it was still 2 successes, so you've got over above what you needed. Unless Chris hasn't... No, he is. He is good. Oh, no. Oh, it was almost a 20. That was the Lexington. It was a 14, which is outside of its science range, unfortunately. But the Mercia got 2. You only needed 1, so you got 1 over and above what was needed. So you still got more campaign momentum. So that means that that military mission has been resolved. Nice. So the Mercia and the Lexington go over here for the ones that have been used. Okay, what's next?
Okay,
So there's the big military 5. There's that there. Go on, sorry.
Let's head for the top tactical, the military 2 urgency 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of identical, but it will look neater
Yeah.
if we take out the top one.
Yes. Alright.
Well, we have... Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4... 8. Yeah, we could do 4 on each. We can't use criminal contacts, it's 4 on each.
Alright.
Like, the Gatrell and the Omnis have the same military, so they can go on opposite ones.
Okay, so let's oh. Well, that's
It's not great.
Commander Commander Gatrell. Oh, we can put the Omnis on this one, on this first one.
Yeah. We've also got the Stargazer, which is slightly better.
Yeah, we can put the
It's about getting a
Star-
balance. Yeah. So Seren and the Nightingale can go together.
Captain Seren and oh, you mean Commander Kratang?
Commander Gatrell of the
Commander-
Nightingale, yes.
Yeah, to go. To go with
Alright.
Seren.
Pair of Vulcans. Nice.
We
Not using
can
that.
put.
Let's put the
I guess we
Alba.
can put Raynar on the with the Omnis.
Yeah, because that's military 12-2.
12-2.
Alright, so we're
Actually, let me
We're
put him
gonna-
where I can see what he can do.
And then Admiral Harding is a 13-3. So because we've already got a 13-3 with
so the Albert and the Sitting Bull are a 9-2. Let's use one of those for this one as the.
Yep. Yep.
So, I missed that. So for this top one, we're using the Omnis and Rayna. Who else is going for this top one?
Let's go with the Sitting Bull.
Sitting Bull.
And we'll save the Alba for the other one. And then do you want the Stargazer or Admiral Harding?
I think Admiral Harding for this one.
All right.
Otherwise, it's just a very crowded, lots of people.
All right.
Ghost is going to do its own thing, and that leaves the Alba and the Stargazer under Seren and Gatrell. Okay, cool. Wow. Right then, let's see. Who makes sense to be the top brass for this one? Hardin has got
Admiral Harding.
33, so that makes sense. Okay. So, Liz, if you can be Hardin with 2 20-sided dice. A 17 and a 3.
Ooh.
The 3 means that that's 2 successes. Nice, nice, nice. Dave, can I get you to be... Actually, Chris, can I get you to be the Sitting Bull? I
That
want you
means
to roll me one 20-sided dice, please.
anything success-wise will be momentum
Extra.
now.
Yeah. 11, so unfortunately
Ooh.
the Sitting Bull didn't do anything
9.
there. Next, Connie, could I get you to be the Omnus? So we want 1 20-sided dice, please. We're looking for 11 and under. We got a 1! Which is 2 extra. The Omnus does excellently. And so, finally, who haven't we had?
That's the ship the Admiral Harding's on.
Make it so! And they did. Who is left? Well then, who wants to be Raina?
Dave?
Dave, do you want to be Raina?
Ah, go on then.
1 20-sided dice.
Yeah, I think we have Dave and then Mark as well. Or the last 2 that haven't rolled yet.
Ho-ho!
Raina scores
That's
2
double.
extra. So that's everybody then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's all the rolls. You got 6 successes where you needed 2. So you got 4 over and above what you wanted, which means your campaign momentum has jumped to a 7. Frequent military patrols in that system? Not anymore, bub. Admiral Hardin was all over that. So that's...
Admiral Harding and Raynar.
yeah, quite. So interesting. One wonders how that that arrogant that arrogant Orion pilot helped change things. So the last thing we've got before we go on to the big final one is scouts report that the enemy is using this system as a staging ground, another military too. So we're using everything else.
Yep.
We're using
Yep.
the Stargazer, the Alba, Saran, and Gatrell. So let's see what we got. So, who makes the most sense? This is a military 2, so we've got a military 11, military 12, military 9,
Correct.
military 11. So it's going to be... I say the Stargazer has got the highest.
Yep.
It's got 12-3. Next down is
Oh,
Saran
I'm
with
looking at the
11-3.
section. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was looking at the wrong section. Yeah. Stargazer leads.
Yep.
Well, Liz, if you care to roll 2 for the Stargazer. Mark, if you want to roll 1 for Captain Seren. Oh, hello!
Ooh, nice.
Smashed it! It's 2. So you've already beat it. It's whatever else is extra. 6 for Captain Seren is 1 more success. That's 3. Let's see. Chris, since you're the medical officer here, why don't you roll for Commander Catrala, another chief medical officer? We're looking for 11 and under.
Cool. 20-sided again, yeah.
Yes, please.
Cool.
14, unfortunately not, but that doesn't matter as much. We've still beat it either way. And Dave, can you be the Alba, please? 20-sided
lonely
dice.
The
Yeah.
lonely Alba with a 9-2.
Yep. So we're looking for a 9 or under on a 20-sided dice, and we get a 4.
Ho-ho!
4 successes where you needed 2. You get 2 campaign momentum, putting you up to a ridiculous 9. You
Can I
have smashed that.
can I just say, if I'm using all of Lily's really good rolls in this,
Yes. But that's a later problem. For right now, we are now looking at the big one using
All the dice.
the
All the
USS
dice.
Ghost on its own secret mission to take out and assassinate this Dominion captain. Not Dominion. What am I saying? Klingon captain.
We're having to roll all 5 dice.
When an
That's the
unknown point of
most
interest. Okay.
Yeah. If I
Wow. Military 16-5. So this is going to be. Well, it's your idea, Mark and Liz. Which one of you wants the honor of rolling all 5 dice?
Oh no.
Right, let me put it a different way. Who wants the responsibility of rolling all 5 dice?
Uh,
I got an idea. Yeah, I got an idea. If it's a 2, I'll roll. If it's a 1, Liz rolls. It's Liz.
There we go.
the fates.
Yes, indeed. All right then. You have accrued 9 campaign momentum, which means 6 of that can be spent buying all the extra dice you need, rolling 5 dice. You want 16 and under. Ooh, you got 1, 2, 3. Let's see. So you got a 19. Oh no. Because I forgot to tell you something else that happens at the midpoint, but we'll get to that now. So we got a 5.
Can we not spend momentum? We got the 5.
So you're A5, which means that you got 2 successes for that, because military focus range for the Ghost is that. You got an 8, which means that's another success. You got a 19, which is a complication.
Oh.
You got a 17, which is outside the realms. You got a 10, which is you got 4 successes.
Can we use momentum to reroll the 19?
No.
And the 10. We can't use momentum to reroll any of them.
You don't use momentum to reroll, I'm afraid not.
So we failed it again.
Unfortunately, you failed it again. Whoever this guy is, he is doing you dirty.
Understand?
Once it gets above 4 difficulty, it's almost impossible to
Well,
succeed.
let's see what happens, shall we? You managed to successfully deal with all of those other ones, so let's deal with that first. You managed to get rid of 3 tactical and 1 routine, so nothing extra beyond what you normally get there. But what happens with unresolved tactical points of interest? Currently, it is at urgency 2. It means that the problem is spreading. You must roll on the escalation table and increase the intensity to 3. So the good news is the difficulty doesn't go up, it remains at 5. It just means the urgency has now gone up to 3. But you also have to roll on the escalation table. So, since Mark, by the fates, took the responsibility off of his shoulders and put it onto Liz's to roll, it's only fitting that Mark has to roll escalation. Can I get you, please, to go to the rollable tables area on the top right? It's just to the right of the book icon for journal.
Yep, I've got...
Under campaign rules tables folder, you should find table number 13 is escalation. You can't see them?
Nope, I've got life path tables, and that's...
Right, then I shall configure that so that you can see.
There you go, now we can see it.
You open up that folder, table 13, appropriately named.
Escalation.
Escalation. If you open that, there should be a button that just says roll. Major enemy plans are unfolding. The campaign pace is increased by 1 for the rest of the campaign. Oh dear. So,
What have you done, Mark?
So two things happened as a result of it being the midpoint of the war. So the war has gotten to the point now it's been going on, and it's escalating in intensity. So whereas before you would have a pace of 5, which means you'd get 5 points of interest, which includes your current episode, we're now at the midpoint, which means that the pace goes up by 1, so you get 6 points of interest, including the episode we're about to do. You have now, unfortunately, because of enemy plans unfolding, increased the pace so that you now get even more points of interest happen. May I ask what the D12 is for?
Nope. I was trying to... I've got loads of dice selected. I can't unselect them.
Weird.
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly reset the forge.
So, the Klingons have obviously enacted some kind of big plan in the area, and this renowned enemy captain is probably at the heart of it. So, yeah, that's all going very much a whoops-a-daisy. But, let us not downplay the ridiculous level of success that you guys enjoyed for this, now that you have got quite the list of military assets at your disposal. So, yes, we didn't get everything done, and that's a shamey shame, but nevertheless, you still have not lost any of your resources, which is good. Because that's a possibility when you roll on the escalation table, is that you might get something gets lost as a result of failure. But in this case, you haven't. It has upped the number of events we have to deal with.
Hopefully one of the events allows us to use the criminal contacts we have.
Well, yeah. Sitting Bull. I'll order that more neatly next time. But you have got 3 campaign momentum that you didn't spend, so that becomes 0, and progression points go up to 5, which means next time, irrespective of how well you do on the episode to come, it means you will have enough progression points to buy you another piece of progression. And to finalize that, we have 2 new assets to gain. The first one is the USS Merlin, which is an ambassador class ship. And you also gain the USS Higgins, which is a New Orleans class ship. So let's put these up here.
What does that mean? Routine with interest, treat all powers as primary. What does that mean?
When assigned to a routine point of interest, so a routine point of interest, treat all powers as primary. So usually it seems to suggest that there's one primary ability on a ship or a resource above others. I have never personally got that all that well, so I just ignore it for the most part. So the New Orleans class, we can just treat it as it is, with a military 15-4, a personal 15-4.
I was going to say, nothing beats the ghost.
Ghost.
Nothing
But
does
the Higgins-
beat the ghost, but they're starting to come down close.
But the Higgins is a good,
Yeah.
normal ship. Where
Man
is
ship,
the
difficulty of
ghost?
social problem.
So we'll be dealing with 7 additional things next turn?
So
yeah.
no, you've already got 6, so there'll be 1 extra point of interest generated than normal from here on, so you're going to get 6 points of interest to deal with every turn from now on.
Okay.
And the 7th one would be our mission.
Yeah.
But the ambassador class ain't that bad for military either.
No, indeed not. I will concur with that one.
Yeah, it's good. It's military and science are the second best, with the social being its primary.
So all in all, you are getting quite the full plate of ships now.
Yeah, I wonder how many more ships there still are.
Well, hopefully with our additional supply, we could throw 3 at each one and do the same again, trying to take out this commander. Unless we get something to reduce the difficulty.
Mm.
We don't actually have any other way of going for him.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of 20 ships. You've got half already of your fleet's available ship resources. That's how well you're doing.
How many? Let's see. We got only 3. We only got what? 4 characters.
Oh, we've got really good comms and AI to fly the ships.
Yes, quite. But there we go. Wow, that was quite something. Be right back, no problem, Mike. Thank you very much. So yeah, cool. So yeah, okay. The pace has quickened so that the enemy are able to do more, but you've got so many ships now available to you, and getting bigger and better ones too. So one can only imagine how well we do from here onwards. I, for one, have all the confidence in you guys, and the fact that you just missed that one by just one, just an unfortunate.
Literally, that 17 had been a 16.
Well, if that 19 hadn't been a 19, but if that 17 had been a 16, then yes, you would have beat it. So that's unfortunate, but there we go.
It's alright. We've got this.
You do. I mean, I'd be worried if you were winning everything. But, no, it's all good. I like how this is unfolding. But we can now leave the ongoing war with the Klingons and get back to something a little bit more familiar. So let's change this back to Deck 1. Change the ambience a little bit. Now, just waiting for Mark to get back, so... Excuse me.
Oh. Matt, did you ever see what I put for the pastime for Bonnet?
Oh, no I didn't. Let me get the right selector up. Holodeck. Downton Abbey. Nice. Nice. You know, that doesn't surprise me for some reason, that every now and again she likes to dress up in that kind of era garb, swish about for a bit, and then come back to flying this ship around like a lunatic. I like that mental picture. Right. Okay. Again.
Yeah.
Like to just...
He doesn't have a fear of the holodecks like Traza.
Well, to be fair, I kind of gave folks that fear of the holodeck, and I don't apologize for it, so, you know.
No, we're blaming Lian Zhang.
Oh, yes.
Set it up.
Absolutely. Put the blame fairly where it belongs. Squarely, pardon me. Squarely and fairly where it belongs. Right then, I am going to get started without Mark. For the moment, he can catch up. That's no problem. Captain's log, stardate 50274.6. The Combs has been called to assist a Federation science team in the Omega Draconis system, currently studying an ancient artificial satellite in orbit of a black hole. I am told the request came with a security identifier that suggests someone on the project has high enough clearance to have the ear of the Admiralty. And so, the ship makes its way to the Omega Draconis system. What is the star date again? Yeah, 50274.6. This should be episode... What are we at now? 22? 21? Let me quickly check.
Just getting the personal log set up.
Yes.
Because I know I'm probably going to make it hard for myself at some point to get more momentum.
For me to make any comment in that regard would be hugely hypocritical. Nevertheless, yes, it is actually something that does bear to be kept in mind, especially if Mark as Flesk wants to ever achieve that milestone whereupon you can swap out one of the ship's talents for another one. Then you need to find some way during the coming episode or episodes to have one of your values influence your character's behavior as a result of a previous episode's events. So if you can make a successful callback to a previous episode and justify what happened during that episode as a reason why your value is making your character act this way, so much the better. And if you can then later on call back to the episode that you called back to a previous episode to, then you gain even bigger advancement. But we'll get to that. So, on the way to the Omega Draconis system, at the moment you have no momentum, so now would be a good time to give the system a good old scan with long-range sensors, just to give yourself some extra information. So, I would suggest your Chief Science Officer, Lieutenant Commander Gurkow, now use her control and science to use the sensors. This can be aided by... let me think. Boris, do you fancy being the combs?
Certainly.
Thank you. We are looking for sensors and science from the combs.
Sensors. Science.
Very good. 15 and 8, which means 1 success, 2 successes overall. That was 2 more than you needed, so you're getting 2 momentum in the pool. Nice. So, just to give you a visual appreciation of the Omega Draconis system. The Combs enters into the system, and there are very few planetoids in this system, but its most striking feature is definitely the black hole, the singularity at the center of this system. The black hole, though, for all its visibility of its accretion disk and all the rest, is contained by this bubble, this field of electromagnetic energy. It appears that this field is being generated from a nearby artificial satellite. The only remaining planetoid in the entire system is a very beaten up one that appears to have had the majority of its mass ripped away, which the culprit of which doesn't take a huge genius to guess who it might or what it might have been. But as a result of the black hole being contained in this bubble, it seems that the one remaining planetoid has managed to sustain life on itself, as you are reading on long-range sensors evidence of life forms on that planetoid. Now, as you start getting closer into the system, there is a computer alert that goes on your... I can just take us back to Deck 1. Your communications officer tells you that the science outpost on the artificial satellite is hailing you. Therefore, by all means, Ensign Ravelon, hailing frequencies open. So, on to the main view screen is projected the image of a Vulcan woman wearing the Starfleet science uniform. And in the background, you can see the telltale prefabricated walls of a quick assembly Starfleet science outpost. Ah, good. Excellent. Somebody answered our call. I am Dr. Talan of the science station assigned here to the artificial planetoid. Din Sobek of the Combs. How may we be of assistance, Dr. Talan? Excellent. Well, my science team and I were posted to investigate this artificial satellite, and had, until about a week ago, gained no success whatsoever with discovering a means of entering into the satellite. Scans of the satellite itself have been unable to penetrate the outer skin of the satellite due to its being comprised of neutronium. However, about a week ago, we did manage to finally locate what appeared to be some kind of access port, an airlock, and we sent 6 of our people in to investigate. That was 3 days ago. We have since lost contact with those 6 individuals, hence our request for assistance. However, during the time that we have been waiting for assistance to arrive, we have noticed some strange occurrences. It seems that the axis tilt of the singularity has altered during the time that we have been present. Captain Sobek, at this, looks quickly over his shoulder in Gurkhau's direction, and for the sake of generating some more group momentum, would Gurkhau like to give me a more focused scan of the black hole, please? Same thing as before. Can I have Dave be the Combs this time, please?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Is there any God focus?
Absolutely.
Oh, lovely.
Because you have been told what to scan for, so you have a statistical probability of what kind of things you are looking for, so yes.
Right.
Dave, we're looking for the same ones that are probably already tagged, so you're giving us 1 dice, but check the focus box because the ship always counts as having focus at stuff like this. Ooh, 19, that was close. And an 11, so 2 successes overall. Those can go into Momentum Bank. So yes, what Dr. Talan has intimated is actually going on. You are detecting a small but noticeable axis tilt in the singularity, which means that the... Hang on a second, I just noticed a message.
No, I was liking the wrong chat on Discord. My bad.
Sorry, beg your pardon. So what's happening is that even though this electromagnetic field is encompassing and containing the black hole, at the very least containing its gravitational effects, this field isn't blocking the fountain of radiation that comes off of it, which is known as a relativistic jet. Relativistic jet, or is it relativistic stream? No, relativistic jet. So, if you can imagine it, you've got the black hole itself and that weird-looking accretion disk, and out of the, and I use the word loosely, top of the black hole, this stream, almost this fountain jet of radioactive particles is being spewed out into space. As the axis of the black hole is tilting ever so slightly, not greatly but noticeably enough, gradually over a period of time, even as you're scanning it, it's altering by like a 0.5 of a degree. The relativistic jet is moving along with it. With those 2 successes, I mean, it's up to you if you want to ask a question to obtain information about that, because you do have, thanks to your high resolution sensors, a free point of momentum that you can use. But I will more than likely give you this as a freebie anyway, so at current trajectory, the current trajectory would put that before too long, if I can just bring us back here, the axis change means the relativistic jet will eventually bring it into line with the planetoid, which means at some point the planetoid will get bathed in radiation from the black hole's relativistic jet. Let me bring you back to deck 1. Captain Sobek jumps in. Dr. Talan, you mentioned that this occurrence happened after your people gained entry to the artificial satellite. Yes, that is correct. The moment my people stepped into the airlock system, they noticed and managed to report back that artificial gravity and internal lighting and life support was apparently activated within the interior of the satellite. But that was also when the gradual shift of the axis of the singularity was observed. And unfortunately, we lost contact with those members of our first team. The neutronium makes it difficult for communications and sensors to pass into it. Therefore, we can only assume that our 6 compatriots have gotten lost. We have requested aid in attempting to continue our efforts to map the interior of the artificial satellite, as well as, hopefully, regain our 6 missing crew members. May I ask, what is being done about the people on the planetoid? You assume they are part of my mandate, Captain. They are not. Captain Sobek at this gives Ensign Ravelon, your communications officer, the mute hand signal, so that he puts Dr. Talan on pause. Scans indicated life forms on this planetoid, yes? Do we have any indication of what level of civilization they have? So, one more time. But I will allow Dr. Sott to jump in as an aid on this, because he has cultural studies.
Cool.
So, reason and reason and science for Dr. Sott for this. 1 dice.
So the funny part is Bunny has cultural studies too.
If you want to spend momentum to bring Bonnet on this too, you can.
Sorry. Didn't mean to roll twice.
Well, you know, it makes sense for Dr. Sott to be leading this with 2 successes, so Gurkow can put 1 dice in, and Bonnet can put another one if you want to spend momentum. Yes, no? If no one says anything...
We can do that for fun.
What was that, sorry, Connie? I talked over you there.
That's alright, I think you might as well. Spend 1, gain 1, or more.
Okay, whoops-a-daisy, sorry.
Yeah,
I
it's worth
altered
it.
that. So, sure, Gurkow rolls control and science as before with sensors and the usual focus, but Bonnet can roll 1 dice as well with her cultural studies.
No! Din of honor!
Alrighty, before you blow up the main sensor array, let's... Yowza! Tag your Legion of Honor so that we can see it's been used.
Yeah. I have 2 more, thankfully.
Thankfully. Alright, you gained 2 extra momentum there, so you spent 1 and gained 2, so that's not bad. Alright. Sensors, because again, you have got advanced and high-resolution sensors, you can take a sensor snapshot of the planetoid. What you notice is, yes, the planetoid has obviously at one point been a complete planet, but seems to have suffered some great geological upheaval, which, let's face it, it's not easy, it's not hard, pardon me, to guess what happened. But somehow, some way, a single continent appears to have survived intact, and that's where all the life forms are based. And there does appear to be a functioning civilization on the planetoid. They appear to be all based on the same continent and are in scattered groups hither and yon abouts. It suggests settlements. There is some evidence from sensors that they were once an industrial age civilization, but after the whatever calamity, well, I say whatever, again, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what calamity happened, but they appear to have reverted to a pre-industrial or a proto-industrial civilization. So there's some evidence of things like windmills, water wheels, stuff like that. Whereas there is evidence of the ruins of an industrial civilization, but they have apparently culturally, or at the very least architecturally, regressed. But they are definitely a pre-warp species.
And can we have a look at them?
Sure, if you want to. I mean, you are still en route at the moment. You haven't quite got to the satellite yet, so you can still have a look at. Use visual sensors, or you keep using the information you've just gained to have a look at them. Anything particularly you wanted to have a look at?
Just
what they look like, or
like. Yeah, what their species looks like. Yeah.
Okay. Nay, problem.
Because if we do have to go down onto that planet, it would be ideal. Oh, okay.
Yes. So sensors indicate that they are a humanoid species. But they are tall, very slender, long of limb, very long arms, very long legs, very long neck. So, yes, prosthetics, if you are going to hide amongst them, will not be enough, or at the very least, those prosthetics will be quite extensive. If you are going to try and hide amongst them for whatever reason, then yes, you're going to have to employ very creative means to do so. It seems that
Dr. Sott's been, let's say Dr. Sott's been good at prosthetics before.
Well,
right. What we can also do is customize the EMH's holographic output, right?
Ooh, very good point.
Ooh,
very good point. Yes, potentially.
Hold on. Couldn't we like kind of use something similar to the emergency doctor?
As in, use holograms to disguise yourselves?
Yes.
It's possible. You might have to work on something to do that, but yes, it's possible.
And we can't let them touch us.
There'd be that. Okay.
But we're not going on there yet. We're going to the satellite, so...
So, after collating all this information, Captain Sobek nods and then gives the indication to Ensign Ravelon to unmute Dr. Talan. Doctor, has any consideration been given to the potential rescue of the people on board the planetoid?
Captain, my science team was given the remit of investigating the artificial satellite. They are well beyond my remit. Surely you see that?
Indeed, but Starfleet's mission is to aid those in need, surely.
It is also Starfleet's mission to not interfere with pre-warp civilizations. In either case, we will be expecting you and your landing party when you are in range. Please feel free to beam down either directly to the airlock hatch on the artificial satellite, or indeed beam into our outpost. We will be expecting you shortly. Talan out.
So Lian Zhang kind of turns over in her chair to look at Sobek. She strike you as a bit, overly literal for a Vulcan? While it is true that my people have a tendency to err on the side of the letter of the agreement, I do find it interesting that she has not even considered the civilization even as a pre-warp one, since they are in obvious peril. I would appreciate your thoughts, everyone. He indicates to all of you, or his senior bridge crew at the very least in this regard.
I think we're all a bit partial to a covert mission.
I think both avenues need to be investigated. I think trying to save them and also looking into trying to save the away team on the satellite, they're both as important.
Anybody else with some thoughts to share?
I mean, I'm with that. Divide and conquer.
Okay. Mr. Flesk, any thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just about to post in the Discord the I have no strong feelings one way or the other meme. So,
Okay.
not very helpful.
Lieutenant Bonnet, any thoughts?
Not in particularly.
Then it sounds to me as if we are proposing two separate away teams. One to investigate the planetoid, one to investigate the artificial satellite. So, who is going on what away team?
I think.
Yes, let's be like you on the satellite.
Let's keep Tavish away from having to speak to people.
I'll go on the diplomatic mission.
All
Yeah,
right,
I'll go on the
so-
diplomatic mission as well, since I have cultural studies.
Good point. So Flask has gone satellite, so let's go put you there and put Sot on the team to do that. So
Tavish is Team Satellite.
okie dokie.
As is Gurkha. Gurkha's too short to blend in.
Yes, it makes sense that Councillor Sachs goes on the away team to the planetoid. Cool. So, what I propose then is that somebody who doesn't have a major character on another team has at least a supporting character to be on another team. That does also, of course, bring up the number of support team members you can activate. So if we go with, we're activating Councillor Sachs for the planetoid mission, so that's 1 down. We still have 4 extras remaining, and we only really need 2 more for each team, roughly. So, depends who and what you want to take.
What's the deal with the satellite team? Are there people on there who could be injured? Did you need the EMD or anything?
Well, that's a good point. You did suggest
yeah,
the EMD would be good for the planetoid team because he can disguise himself, but taking somebody medical to the artificial satellite team is not necessarily a bad thing either. So,
I'm for planetoid for the EMH.
Yes. But I
So
think
that-
we'll take this Uro then on the
Yeah.
satellite.
Okay, so that's 1 more. So 1 more. I mean, Gurkau is pretty good at security, but I think maybe Team Planetoid might need somebody who's good at security.
Take a Garrow.
They can take Garrow, or they can take Ensign. Well, or the other team can take Ensign Akos, because if you activate Ensign Akos, that means he can get improved.
Yeah,
But
we'll take Ensign because we might need multiple hands on the satellite.
Ah,
But
How many NPCs have we got?
you've got the ability to activate 1 more.
I was gonna suggest, can we take Ensign Sakaz for the planetoid team? For security.
Which ensign, sorry?
Sakaz. Is it Sakaz? Akaz.
Akos, yes.
Akaz. Yeah,
There
sorry.
he is. For the planetoid team.
Yeah, just a suggestion. Because actually, because we were thinking about, I don't know.
Well, having someone on from security on at least 1, maybe both, is up to you, but it also depends on which supporting characters you think you also want to improve, because I know at least, Dave, you've been looking to improve Jirani and Kenson.
I'm looking to bring Kenson along because, well, I was Kenson last time, so if I can improve Kenson, I think that's going to help.
So it would make sense to go on on the artificial satellite kind of thing. No problem, Connie?
And Kenson has slightly better security for more punching.
Does she?
Yeah, she's got security 2, whereas Zrani has a security of 1. It's not a great difference, but
It means she's
1
put
more.
in more time at the phaser range.
Oh, that's why she keeps on missing the start of his shifts.
More
More I think it's more hyperspanner discipline needed.
Whereas Flesk is very much nothing when it comes to combat and fitness.
I was gonna, this is the thing. We've got a Garrow, a Gurkau who can punch absolutely anything into oblivion.
has done.
So yeah, and with Akaz, have I got that name right?
Yeah, Akos.
Akaz, and with Akaz on as the security for the planetoid team, they've got somebody who can, put somebody down if needs be.
Yeah, he can stun you and put you in irons at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So is everybody happy with that? So just to reiterate, the ones going down to have a look at the pre-warp civilization are Dr. Sot and the EMD, Ensign Akos, Lieutenant Junior Grade Bonnet, and Councillor Sachs. All of which makes sense. We've got medical, we've got somebody who's a hologram who can blend in, we've got those with cultural, you've got your councillor with telepathy, empathy, and psychology, and of course you've got your requisite security personnel, whereas the rest have got 2 engineers, Gurkau, we've got operator with flask, and you've got your requisite medical backup with Nurse Uro. So everybody good with that, because that's the most you can field.
Yep.
Spiffing. Alright then, so first things first, the crew who are going to be on the away team mission to the planetoid are going to need a way of blending in. So, they are definitely going to need hologram emitters, potentially, unless some form of really complicated prosthetics are going to need to be built. So, up to you. How do you want to handle that? Because each way has its own advantages and its own risks. Hi, Connie. So, would the planetoid team rather the hologrammatical means of disguising themselves, which means that their disguises will be a lot more complete, but as has been noted, you can't let them touch you or anything like that, otherwise the illusion might be broken. But on the other side, if you do prosthetics, the prosthetics are going to be quite extensive. It'll allow them to touch you, but if the prosthetics get damaged in any way, then...
I feel like prosthetics is the way to go. There's like, you know, 3 medical staff, 2 of them are going on the mission, so I say we go that route.
Greetings, human. I am not actually 3 chickens in a in a coat. What was that from? Slime Rancher. I don't know what their obsession with chickens was in that game, but there we go. Okay, so we're going with extensive prosthetics. So, right, yes. Obviously, the emergency medical drone will be able to just change his display output. So he doesn't need it. But the prosthetics, I mean, you've got Nurse Uro activated, so you may as well use him, are going to be pretty extensive. Anybody who's worn prosthetics before knows that they can be quite hot and uncomfortable, and your range of motion will be a little limited. But you'll at least have the material component going for you. So let's see how we do. This is definitely going to be a control and medicine job. Now, nobody here has actually got the focus of prosthetics, and these are going to be pretty difficult prosthetics to make. So I am gonna make this difficulty 3. But I would definitely recommend that the EMD and Nurse Uro get involved in this, because their medicines are all quite high. Neither of which have got prosthetics as a focus either. But hey, maybe after this episode, one or both of them might. So, I would imagine Dr. Sott is going to be the leader on this. Let's have...
I've also got, I've just noticed, the Starfleet Surgeon's decoration. I can't quite see the bottom of it. It runs out, but either way, I can reduce the difficulty of a single medical task by something. So, I'm going
Alright, let's see. Once per mission, you may reduce the difficulty of a single medical task by 2 to a minimum of 1.
Oh, well, there we are.
Well, dang. So you can reduce by using that and not using it again. You have reduced it from difficulty 3 to difficulty 1. Nice. All right then. Very good. This is why he's the chief. It was definitely worth getting that award. All right then. In that case, well, it's difficulty 1 now, so it's that much easier to do. So does Dr. Sott want both his assistants on this, or does he think he can get away with just the 1?
I'll see how my roll goes first, if that's okay.
Ready? It's all Dr. Sott. So, yes, with no help from any of his assistants, he comes up with the prosthetics and can apply them. And everybody in the team, except of course for the EMD, gets covered in prosthetics, which for Ensign Akos is a bit more uncomfortable than most, because he's got 3 arms and 3 legs. So it's going to be uncomfortable for him, because he's going to be going from knowing how to walk on 3 legs to suddenly getting the hang of walking on 2. So this is going to be weird for him as a result, but we will see how we do with it. That level of prosthetics will take a little time to apply to each. I mean, it's essentially going to be replicated stuff, and a certain amount of transporter beam shenanigans can be also used in order to apply this stuff. But otherwise, you are good. Yes.
Can I ask an important question?
Mm-hmm.
Does Dr. Sock keep the beard?
Ooh.
You haven't noticed any of the native people using, or with any kind of facial hair whatsoever. So the beard will at least not be present on the prosthetics.
It's a shame. Sorry.
It is a shame.
It's
I'll
an
just wear a
epic
face mask.
Well, yeah, it's going to be this weird thing of, because these creatures are so tall, you are essentially going to be looking out of the prosthetic suit via the neck, and the head is going to be, this artificial head is going to be sitting on top of yours. But this is 24th century tech, so one imagines even prosthetic technology has advanced quite a bit. So it's not going to be that bad, but there we go. If anyone has had to wear prosthetic makeup, like the cast of Star Trek, for instance, for any length of time, it gets pretty uncomfortable in there after a while.
You have to use stilts so they can have their head.
Yeah, there's going to be some of that too. Well, they got long legs anyway, this species, so a certain amount of stiltage is actually going to be required. So yeah. And they won't be shaking hands as much as they're going to be trying to control the artificial hands at the ends of these elongated limbs. So it's all going to be, you're all essentially, except for the EMD, of course, riding along in this mech suit with the equivalent of latex on the outside. So yeah. All very odd, but all very interesting. This is essentially a fact-finding mission, as well as potentially well, it's not even a first contact, really, is it? It's more like a one of those. Sorry, I pinged for no reason. One of those observation missions that Starfleet or the Federation has been known to employ every now and again. Okay. This then rolls me over to what equipment do you want to take with you? And this applies to both parties. Most folks, I think, have probably still got EVA suits in their equipment lists.
I definitely have the EVA suit in my list.
I think me and Gurkha have probably got the same idea.
Oh.
We need to take the grub sled.
You know it, baby.
Oh dear.
What?
I'm not surprised in any way, shape, or form.
It's a big satellite.
It is a
made
big satellite.
to take some stuff.
You know what? That needs to be another science project for you guys. Is to, rather than create use the anti-grav sled all the time, just create an anti-grav scooter.
We did that one time, remember?
Yes,
There
you
was-
use
there
the
was a
anti-grav
podcast.
sled to become an anti-grav scooter. Just make an actual scooter, for crying out loud.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll put down the Aurora drive. Yeah, for my.
You can start making
yeah.
a scooter.
We'll completely,
No.
completely scrap that. No, we'll completely scrap that, and the anti-grav scooter shall be the important one. I've got it.
No. You keep working on the Aurora drive. Just have Bonnet work on the scooter. She does have decent engineering.
And piloting, and you want to be able to drive that thing well.
which means it's probably going to have a
Got you.
booster rocket on the back of it. Just warning you.
No, it's fine. I'll do it. You know, it's not just going to have boosters. It's going to have its own personal shield, its own personal little phasers on the front.
Right, so it's not a
That's-
scooter anymore. It's now an attack sled.
It also
That's
has.
going to raise threat, though. If it's got lasers, it will raise threat. It won't be free to take.
Look, it's my project, Flesk, not yours.
Oh no, I'm not challenging you making it. It's just that we won't be able to take it with us because of the increase to threat.
Well, you will. It'll just require. It'll give a booster threat due to escalation. Yes. So.
It will also have not just boosters, but a bigger engine in it. It's going to have some comfortable seats.
Seats. This thing's going to need inertial dampers at this point.
Yes, that's what I was.
It's going to need to magnetically lock you to the thing.
Are you reinventing the shuttle pod?
Essentially, he's creating a smaller version, a personalized version of the shuttle pod. The scooter pod.
It's going to have sensors on it.
Oh, Mio, mate, you're just downsizing a shuttle now that I think about it. Yeah, that's essentially what you're doing.
Hey, Captain, do you mind me taking one of the shuttles? What are you going to do? Nothing. Don't have to worry about it. You know.
Yeah, we're just gonna scrap one of the shuttles that are that's under extensive maintenance.
You know what? Forget the rest of this episode. I'm interested in this scooter all of a sudden. Let's go that
way. look, all you're gonna have is like Captain's just gonna come into like the shuttle bay, yeah, and all you can see is like
people racing each other around the shuttle bay.
No. All you can see is just. The kind of cartoons when people are like kind of going, no, I don't need that, I don't need that.
Yes, throwing random bits of the machinery everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be Tavish. Don't need that. Don't need... Who needed this safety feature? Oh, get rid of that.
See, what also popped into my head that while you were saying that was, nope, don't need that, nope, don't need that. Huh. I wonder what this does. Probably don't need it.
You've written a perfectly good shuttle pod.
Yes, but now we have
the
anti-grav scooter.
Can you imagine the poor flight officer just there watching, rocking back and forth, watching this abomination happen? Anyway, sorry. Yes, apparently I do like the tale of the anti-grav scooter way more than what I had keyed up for this episode. So.
What? Just a
Damn.
random episode. Just a random episode is just all talking about this anti-grav scooter. I can deal with that.
How much prep time do we have for this satellite?
Yeah.
Well, you've got about you've got a flight time of 20 minutes before you reach the artificial satellite. So.
We can do that in 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're not building anything, we're removing.
Yeah. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that.
So you can take the anti-grav sled if you really, really, really want to. What?
Okay. But, okay.
That has to be it. We
Can
can leave the anti-grav scooter for another science project.
Hold on, I've just got one more question.
Oh, jeez. No, go on then. You can't leave me hanging now.
What is? Yeah. Would it be safe? Yeah.
With you, probably not.
Just no.
to put basically little warp engines on the anti-grav scooter.
That depends.
Oh,
That depends on what consistency of jam you wanted the person riding on it to end up as.
It's just an idea. We'll all throw that out.
You're just giving me ideas for Bunny's.
This is what
Science
happened.
project,
Sorry,
yeah.
go on, Liz. Sorry, go on.
See, he can still work on the Aurora drive. Bonnie's gonna make a miniature anti-grav scooter that has warp capability.
All right. As a
Um,
helm officer, I'm going to quickly point out the dangers of going at faster than light speeds within a planetary system, let alone on an actual planetary body.
Oh, no. I've got it now. That's
Oh,
it.
jeez. Okay.
Sorry. I've got it. Basically, yeah. We make the anti-grav scooter, yeah, so it can work on the planet, but we also make sure it can work as a very small vessel out in space.
This is a shuttle pod.
a very,
Just imagine
one-
that. Flesk going,
We're gonna-
you have one! Right there! Right
No.
there!
Yeah,
No.
but it's a smaller version of
Go on,
a
Liz.
shuttle pod.
It's a one-man, like, fighter craft that can also be used on planetary services.
Jeez. Louise.
So an escape pod with some creature comforts.
Escape pod with
And-
weapons. Jeez.
Yes, escape pod with weapons, its own.
An escape pod you can deliver Uber Eats orders on.
Yeah. Thank you. Somebody else was going there in their head, not just me. Thank God. All right. Wow. I might have to rename this episode at this rate. But
What do people think about disruptors?
are you sure you want to go there?
I'm joking.
The warp engine was one idea, but disruptors? You sure?
You're just getting.
If anything,
more.
the disruptors are the least dangerous part of that idea.
I know, but we're now starting to branch out of the realms of lethality and into actual war crimes almost.
It's only a war crime. It's never a war crime the first time, and it's only a war crime if you get caught.
Look, as the person who plays Tavish, I would be remiss if I didn't go down every single avenue
Investigation.
of an investigation. Yes.
All I've got is Gurkow there with an increasing look of what the hell on her face, and Flesk's arms just raising up to his head, and he's just speechless with horror. What? Anyway, no. Moving away from this very quickly.
I'd just like to point out this comes from the person who made, phasers into grenades.
Yeah, which is why none of us are surprised. We're just all horrified at the idea. Again.
I
But-
could just see both Tavish and Bonnet in opposite or building opposite stuff in competition with each other now.
By all means, we can investigate this as another science project to do. Absolutely. I'm open for that idea. But for now, it is beyond the scope of what you can accomplish in the small time that you have before we can get to the planetoid. But at least we had a hearty discussion over the matter. We now have a good idea as to the do's and don'ts of an anti-grav scooter.
Does a cow want to take the anti-grav, or do you want me to take the anti-grav?
You do only have so many hands that you can use.
I'll take it.
Okie dokie.
Any surprise modifications as of yet?
No modifications. I will do modifications if needs be, if we need it.
And when.
Yeah.
Maybe rip a nacelle off a shuttle for her or something. But any other equipment you think you want to take? You don't have a hell of a lot of information going on this, but... Oh, one thing before we actually go on, which will allow folks to still have a look through the equipment lists, but neutronium was mentioned. The artificial satellite is made, or at least its outer skin is made out of neutronium. Now, Most folks here, as far as I'm aware, don't have much in the way of history. Except for Tavish, actually. Historical engineering.
Yeah.
So, neutronium has been encountered before. In the time of James Kirk and the Enterprise, when they encountered some kind of ship that was able to destroy planets, if I recall. And it was composed almost entirely out of neutronium, which meant that it was impervious to even photon torpedoes. The only way to destroy that ship, which they called the Doomsday device, or the Doomsday ship, I forget which, was to actually fly down the gullet of its main weapon in order to destroy it from the inside. So, neutronium, not something that Federation has come across very often, but you know that it is such a dense material that, yes, it's no surprise that sensors and comms can't get through it, because very little can get through neutronium.
Can I then, I'm going very engineering thing. Can I take a mass spectrometer with me?
Okay.
Because it does say in it, it can take a sample of the material, break it down, and provide incredible amounts of details about the matter making it up.
The breaking down side might be difficult, but by all means take the mass spectrometer anyway.
Also, would it be a plasma torch be able to get through it?
Again, photon torpedoes did nothing to neutronium.
Okay.
Also, how are you having used a mass spectrometer? I'm assuming this is a miniaturized one, because
Yes.
that's not a small bit of kit.
No, so you're essentially taking a briefcase with a device in it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we will need the anti-grav sled.
Well, there we are. I just gave you justification, didn't I?
Well, I was going to say, you can actually, looking at the picture for the mass spectrometer, the person actually has it in their hand.
Yes. So it could. That's a good point,
one
actually.
hand.
I mean, everything gets miniaturized in the future, so you know.
Yeah. So.
I know for the for Bonnie's team, she's taking a holographic emitter just in case, and an iPad so she can take notes.
Righty-ho. That's no problem.
Can I ask about the audio receiver?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me have a look.
That's essentially what Lieutenant Uhura used to put in her ear.
Just like Bluetooth, wasn't it?
Yeah. But yes, that's the size of current mass spectrometers.
I was going to say, yeah, I was thinking about it being, I know, hopefully we don't get split up on the
something
satellite.
to maybe boost comms. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, just in case.
Yeah.
That's actually a smaller thing for us to carry. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, well, it goes in our ear, so.
Speaking of itchy, itchy. Okay.
So do all of us want to take that?
Yeah, Bonnie's gonna grab an audio receiver.
I can't even see it.
Under
It's
other
in
equipment. Tools and portable items.
Other equipment. Got it.
Audio
Passing
receiver.
So, Nurse Uro and Ensign Kenson need them as well, don't they? Are we giving them Evos? Yeah, the
suits.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, because they might need those.
Yes, because at the very least you might end up taking a spacewalk across the surface of the artificial satellites in order to get to the under armor. It technically counts as armor.
Ooh,
Okay, alright.
Uro has no weapons of any kind. He has new
He's a
character
doctor.
weapon 2E
Oh,
and
yes.
new armor.
Let's get rid of that. And let's
I'll
get rid of that.
new armor. Cool.
Environmental suit. And
He should, at the very least, have
A medical tricorder?
fisticuffs.
Yeah. Type 1 phaser for Ensign Kenton. Type 2 phaser for Tavish with a hyperspanner. I thank you for putting that in as a actual thing I can use to hit people with. By the way.
Well, it was a requirement, so there we are.
Do we want to take anything else for the satellite?
So you've got stuff to scan with, stuff to haul people and equipment about on. You've got EV suits that you can survive vacuum and stuff. Communication points to stick in your ears so that you can at least try and maintain communication in a otherwise difficult environment. The ability to take notes and scans and holographic images of stuff has also been put in, so yeah, I think you're pretty good as far as kit goes.
Do we want the planetary away team to have the communication device as well?
Oh, I was taking all that stuff for Bonnet for the planet.
All right, that seems to have answered your question.
Yeah, she has the holographic emitter, the pad, and the auto receiver.
All right then.
She's gonna be taking notes about this.
Nope, good idea. Like it a lot. But having EV suits on underneath all those prosthetics is going to be very difficult. So,
Oh, she's. Do we need an EV suit?
no, it's a Class M planetoid,
Good.
so you don't need.
But she has the holographic emitter just in case her prosthetics are damaged.
Yes. That is a good point. I need to give the EMD a very special Doctors Only weapon. I'm sure Dr. Sott's got it already. Yes, he does. Nosuro does as well now. Cool. Alright. Last call. Anything else? Alrighty.
I was just having a look at the weapons.
So while you do that, my question to the group who are going down to the planetoid to investigate the culture there, are you going to beam down, or are you going to take a shuttle?
Guess I'm going to worry about hiding the shuttle if we just beam down.
Yes, there's that.
Yeah, I think beaming down will probably be the best option. That
Just
way,
out of sight so they don't see people materialize out of nowhere.
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna just hand the counselor a holographic imager just in case as well. You might need it.
Have it as a backup if the suits seem to go wrong.
That's the main thing. That's why I'm handing it to both ACOS and
Fine, fair, and good.
counseling.
Fine, fair, and good.
Hold on.
Holding on.
Is that the mass spectrometer? The real size for the mass spectrometer?
That's a particularly large one. They're usually about the size of a desk.
Wow.
They're big things. The one I used in the Clear Lab at Cardiff Uni was about the size of a desk on its own. They're pretty big. They're very cool. And someone's opening and closing a door.
I'm guessing that's
That's
Liz
Liz.
getting bored, so let's...
no.
And so my final question to the artificial satellite group is, do you want to go straight to the artificial satellite, or do you want to check in with the actual science outpost first?
I want to go straight there.
Interesting. Okay.
Because the science outpost is still going to be there. We could go to that after we've got what we can from the satellite. That's my thought. Don't base a decision on me alone.
So, Gurkow and Tavish, are they up for going straight to the artificial satellite, or do they want to visit, as in straight to the airlock, or do they want to visit the science outpost for any reason?
As said, Tavish has a bad experience with people in high positions. I think it's best to
Do our own science.
yeah.
Same goes for Gurkow, actually, so yeah, best leave a good impression by leaving no impression at all, then, I suppose.
I like it.
Alright then, so once again then, I pose the same question to you guys. Do you just want to beam straight there, or do you want to maybe take a shuttle?
I feel like taking a shuttle will probably be better.
Park it next to the airlock kind of job?
Yes, just for the simple fact that we know we're going to be taking several. Hopefully, we're bringing several people back as well. I know it's going to be a tight fit to bring all those people back in a shuttle, but at least we can make, like a couple of trips in a shuttle, and we're not worrying about,
yeah, I get you.
But yeah, the transporter beams being interfered with.
Cool beans. Okay. So, let's have... So, what we end up with, quickly jumping to the overall system map, is that the combs then will more than likely hit into stationary orbit over the planetoid so that it can beam the group down there, but the shuttle crew from Shutty the Shuttle
I was
deployed.
Are we taking
well,
Shutty
you can't
the
not
shuttle?
take Shutty. Take the shuttle from the combs. That means you can park it on the artificial satellite itself, close to the actual entranceway, the airlock, essentially, that they denoted. So, as far as both teams go, the planetoid lot, there'll be an initial scan for one of the better, potentially more populated outposts, I suppose you could call them, villages at the very least, to have a look around in. And you manage to find a suitable looking one in the northern part of the continent. And there are others dotted around, but this one looks like it should do the trick. Likewise, the shuttle, the group who go off in the shuttle, when you fly over the satellite's surface, you do come across, denoted very clearly, the prefabricated building that's been bolted onto it, which is the science team's primary outpost. But what they've done is that they've put these lit posts, almost like you would when you go off on an Arctic expedition, where you've got those posts driven into the ground so that you can put a rope thread around it so that people can hold on to the rope and get guided towards where they need to go, in which in this case you've got these nicely big lit poles that lead quite nicely in a single direction all the way to the airlock hatch, which means that it's nicely well lit for you. You can see where it is that you need to land. The scale of the thing is quite phenomenal, but it's not of any design that you've come across before, certainly. And so you land that perfectly next to the entranceway, the airlock, and you can disembark when you want. So, let's see. This comes to which one we think we should start with, the planetoid lot or the satellite lot. Well, I leave that up to you guys, actually. Which one would you like to start with, the planetoid or the satellite?
I don't mind seeing what's going on with the satellite first.
Sure. Let us cause the diplomatic damage that you can fix.
Alright then, give me a moment. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's go to deck 1. So, the satellite lot. You exit the shuttle, and you put on your EVs. You've got your EV suits on, obviously, before you exit the shuttle. Let me quickly point that out. And so, leaving the shuttle, your magnetic boots latch onto the outer surface, and you are afforded this incredible and also terrifying view of the black hole itself. You've never really been this close to a black hole before, and obviously there's that shimmering, weird electromagnetic field that's encompassing it. But all the same, you're now looking out at this incredible spectacle with your naked eye, and there's this, well, you're essentially looking at this gigantic maw, this hole in space that for the moment is contained, but, well, there's that kind of niggling feeling, almost like when if you lie flat on the floor and you look up at the night sky, there's that sudden weird disassociative feeling you get where you feel like you might actually fall upwards. I don't know if any of you have had that. Or is it just me?
That's not me.
I've had that.
It's possibly due to my fear of heights, but it's a case of I've occasionally, lain flat on like a beach, and when it's night sky, when the night sky is clear above you, you can see all the stars. It's lovely and all, but then there's a sudden feeling of, oh hell, what if the Earth lets me go? I'm gonna fall forever. So yeah, if you can maybe think of that weird sense of partial vertigo all of a sudden, then yes, that's the impression you get. But nonetheless, that's overcome by just looking down at where your feet are and concentrating on that to make your way towards the airlock. And so, you eventually get to the airlock. And it is pretty much what you expect out of an airlock. There's an outer door which you enter, and as soon as you close the door, you've got another inner door, and you have to wait for the pressure to cycle so the atmosphere filters in. And you get a green light, which signifies that the airlock you're in has now pressurized with the interior, and you are able to, if you want to, take off your EV suits, or at the very least the helmets, so that once your suit registers that there is a breathable atmosphere and standard gravity in here. So, as soon as you all exit the airlock, you find you're at an intersection. And this intersection, as you can see, has a single occupant, a young Starfleet officer with a pip that marks him as merely an ensign, but the blue collar that marks him as Science Division. And he is busy opening various boxes with equipment and having a look inside of them. And it looks like he's reading from a pad to have a good look at what he's got around him. As soon as he notices that you're there, he puts whatever he was looking at down and walks over to you. Oh, thank goodness, relief is here. I've been on shift for... Oh, wait, no. You're not from the science outpost. Oh, he straightens himself. I am sorry. How may I be of assistance, sirs?
And a flask.
Tavish just nudges Flask. You're up.
Yes, we got a call for assistance, and we want to see what's going on this satellite. been having some problems.
Oh, right. I see. So you're from the ship that I heard was coming in. Excellent. Oh, yeah, well, you could say problems. Yeah. I mean, you heard that we lost people, right?
Yes, we didn't get all the details as to how this has happened, nor what's been going on in full detail, but the lot of us are here to help.
Good.
What's been going on? How can we help? And how can we get things safe?
Well, okay. Let me see. I, along with the rest, were posted here to investigate this satellite, and for the most part, we were just basically walking around the outer hull, finding a whole lot of nothing. I mean, the whole thing's made of neutronium, so we couldn't scan anything except the outer surface, which was dotted with a whole lot of nothing. But after a while, one of our teams managed to find the very airlock that you guys just came through, and so that was fun. That was about 7 days ago, standard, I think. And we sent a team of 6 in to have an initial foray, but we had communication issues pretty much from the outset, which, and he gestures around himself, is more than likely due to the fact that the interior is made of neutronium as well as the exterior. So that meant that, unfortunately, comms also gets lost in here. So we figured that the last team, or the first team that went in, more than likely got lost, and I can see why. This place is, well, I haven't been very far. I've pretty much just been here, but from what the others have been telling me, it's pretty much a maze. Oh yeah, others. There are 2 more officers, my immediate superiors, who have volunteered to start going ahead slowly. They are laying comm boosters down as they go so that we can create a relay network of communications so that we can actually keep in contact. So they were gone about, and he checks his pad, 20 or so minutes ago they last checked in, so they're due to check in again in about 5 minutes or so, I believe. So they left me here to, and he gestures around himself, just set up and catalog everything that's going on here. Oh yeah, I left those in. Well plotted. Book. I don't know who you mean, Liz. There was never anybody there.
What's your name, by the way?
Oh, Eddie. I mean, people who know me call me Eddie. I'm Ensign Ensign Edison, sir. Ensign Edison, Paul Edison.
Okay, I'm Lieutenant Commander Lily Tavish. To my right is Lieutenant Commander Nisha.
Just say Gurkha.
Lieutenant Commander Kirkow. To my rear is Nurse Uro, and
and behind
the last
him
person is Ensign Kenson. This would be Commander Flesk. Can you show me to any computers or anything in this place?
Oh, well, he gestures to the main table over here. We do have a rudimentary sensor console going on here, displaying what we've managed to chart so far. And he brings up what's a basic wirework 3D, but a wirework display of a number of tunnels. And you can see at the end of one tunnel that's stretching out, and it's being filled in as it goes, and you've got 2 blips, each of which have got a Starfleet insignia next to them, and if you touch the insignia on the hologrammatic display, you get a reading of the individual's name and rank and serial number. And it seems that this is the pair of the advanced team that Ensign Edison was talking about. They're moving forwards slowly, feeding back information to this map as they go.
Tavish is going to take out her basically a USB.
Right, the neural interface.
Yeah. Going to put one into her head, one into the computer system.
Ensign Edison has the look of, oh my, on his face.
She goes, Nilo, copy the information and see, and put it. She'll put like another device. Her would it be tricorder.
Tricorder is the main scanning device that you use. Yes.
Yeah. To do like a relay system, relay system of that computer to her tricorder.
So that way you're loading the information from one to the... Well, yeah, you don't necessarily need to use your neural link for that, but...
It also gives Nilo access to whatever they've got access to.
Accessing.
So far.
Information absorbed.
Thank you, Nilo.
Oh, you are most welcome.
Okay.
Alright, so now you've got their work in progress, map going on. Anything else you want to do while you're here? Any other questions you want to ask Mr. Edison? Yes.
So, question is, this is probably to Edison then. Ensign Edison. I'm trying not to laugh.
At last, now you know how it feels.
Is this satellite got its own computer system integrated into it, or is it this just all Starfleet?
Well, he gestures to the walls. We're not sure, actually, sir. You see, these things here look like display screens, but so far all they seem to be doing is just giving off light, which is just as well, because this place is... Permission to speak freely, sirs?
Permission granted.
Thank you. This place is pretty damn spooky, and I don't mind admitting that. Okay. It's like, well, he reaches down, runs his finger along the floor, and comes up again and shows that his finger has got nothing on it. This place is spotless. I mean, it doesn't even have dust. This place is just so clean, it's unreal. And there's not even sound. I mean, there was sound as my superiors, who are now mapping, were going off in that direction, but, you know, it's like sound doesn't even echo properly around here. I really don't like being here on my own, sirs.
This is basically a massive clean room.
It seems like the whole place is one massive clean room so far, sir. Yeah. And we haven't yet been able to successfully find anything that suggests a main computer room, or even if these are nothing, these might just be lights.
Okay. Commander Flesk.
Apart from being incredibly happy in the massic clean space. No dust, nothing.
He actually takes his helmet off. Big lungful of air.
Commander Flesk, can I ask your permission to do something?
You can ask. What is it you're seeking permission for?
to see if I can Neuralink into this satellite's computer to see if we can get any information. I would suggest that we have Nurse Euro and maybe yourself and Ensign Kenson on standby to disengage me if things seem to go wrong.
Before we do that, I will give my permission. I'd like to see if we get the team that's deploying the communication relays, see if they check in on time.
Okie dokie.
Because they're due for a call in, and if they call in and there's no trouble, we can do that. Because we know we can contact them and we know they're not in trouble. Then I'd be happy for you to link in. As insane as that is, I'll be happy for you to try.
Thank you, Commander.
Okay. So what happens is that Tavish can walk up to one of the panels on the wall and is there getting ready with the neural jack, but then looks at this screen and is there ready to plug it into something. And as you look, there's nothing to actually plug into. In fact, now that you look at it, this screen is flush into the wall. You try and get at it, there's not even a seam to separate it from the wall itself. I mean, you could, for the life of you, you can't see how someone would even try and get a screwdriver or a hyperspanner in to try and remove this thing from the wall. And let's not also forget that neutronium. So it's not obvious, again, if this is, like Ensign Edison said, it's not obvious if this was a light or a viewing screen of some sort. And if it's a viewing screen, you don't know how you interface with it. Because just pushing your hands at it is proving nothing, and there's no actual jack or anything to plug it into. So.
Okay. I'll relay the information to Flesk. Relay that information to Flesk. She won't do, as there's nowhere to jack into, she won't do anything. But she will suggest about maybe having a play with it to see exactly what this is. 'Cause she is really curious about this.
Yeah, very well. There may also be a case for us exploring deeper after the people have gone down, putting down relays. There may be an access point you could make use of further in the satellite.
Yes.
And that brings us nicely to Ensign Edison goes, "Oh yeah, of course, it's that time," and he presses his comm badge. Ensign Edison to forward relay team. It's time to check in, guys. Guys? And he kind of conspiratorially puts his hand over his comm badge and whispers into it, "Guys, if you're trying to spook me, this really isn't funny. I'm not falling for it again."
Can I have a look?
Seriously, guys.
Can I have a look at the relay and those people as well?
Yeah, the ident dots have gone. And the wire map now stops at a certain point.
Commander Flesk. I think there may be some trouble.
Yep. We need to
Ensign?
yeah.
If you don't mind me taking a charge, Ensign Edison, can you please stay here? We'll put our identities into this.
Yep.
As well. I want you to watch closely.
Live comm feed. We're not doing
right.
20-minute checking. We're not doing check-ins. We're doing live comm feed.
All right. Well, Ensign Edison looks one part relieved and one part unnerved at the fact that he has to stay here on his own, but he certainly doesn't seem like he wants to go off further into the complex, and so he definitely agrees. "Yes, sir, I will make sure to keep the comm feed open as I can, sir. Definitely." He indicates that the crew who are laying down the comm relays went that way, northwards.
Right. Oh.
So,
Forget it.
yeah, just get an idea that you guys are all going in that general direction, but unless anybody had something else they were going to add?
Nope.
Cool. Then we will change scene. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. And go down to the surface. Let me change the ambience. Do 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 do. Come on. There we are.
Oh, this is nice.
So yeah. So, as a slight departure from Starfleet norm, you guys beam down not into an alleyway. So you're actually on a dirt road that eventually comes after it crests a rise upon this rather charming little village, which is comprised pretty much as you see it. As I noted, definitely pre-industrial, with some leanings in starting up the industrial process again. But yeah, it looks like there are lots of small and semi-large plots containing not just plants, but also here and there animals. So for the most part, farms. They appear to have most of their dwellings set up around a central point, which in this case appears to be a well. So the question now becomes, how do you want to proceed? Do you want to be stealthy, sneaky-like, or do you want to introduce yourselves? Let's get more of a... So do you want to try and maintain stealth for as long as you can and observe that way? Or do you want to do more observation from milling amongst the populace? I mean, what does Dr. Sott think?
Should just go and have a mosey around, I think.
Ah, I see what you did there.
Stop at the inn, hear the local gossip, that sort of thing.
So, ingratiate yourselves amongst the populace, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else good with that plan?
Sounds good. I mean, I'm not there, so sounds really...
Well, you know, you're going to be taking charge of one of the supporting characters, so it's up to Dave, Connie, and Chris as to... Not Chris, pardon. Dave, Connie... sorry, Connie and Chris, I rolls off my tongue very easily since you two come as a matched set, so... Do excuse me for breaking down your relationship into that very simplistic manner, but there we go.
It works, it's fine.
So we've got Dave, we've got Mark, and we have, of course, got Connie, who do not have their main characters, so you can choose to be whomever of the three supporting characters, ACOS, the EMD, Councillor Sachs, that you want, or you can take turns being individual ones. It doesn't really matter all that much, as long as we get turns. So, everybody good with Dr. Sott's idea of milling in amongst the populace?
Yeah. Let's test these prosthetics.
Okay. So, walking along the path, of course, you come across one of the first people who's looking after their fruits and vegetables. So, what I'm going to ask for is folks with cultural studies to give me some observational rolls just to see whether or not you... Because the universal translator will do the job of translating whatever you say into the native language, but of course the universal translator on its own is not to be relied upon to maintain your cover. You have to try and look as if you fit in and belong, or at the very least don't make any mistakes that would give you away as something other than you are. So those with cultural studies can give me a check to see how well you identify with the habits of these people so that you can not make any accidental faux pas or do anything that's considered taboo.
It's pretty much just me, I think.
I'm not so sure. I know Bonnet has got
no.
cultural studies
Bonnet?
too.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't read.
It is nestled
Man,
in there.
I see how it is.
No, sorry. I must have clicked on everyone but yourself. Sorry.
Sax has got diplomacy and psychology, either of which could work very well for trying to make sure that you don't verbally step in something. So yeah, you've got at least 2, more like 3 if you need to, who have got the ability to analyze the language and the culture around here. So whoever wants to go as primary, I would suggest Sax isn't the primary, since she doesn't have the same cultural studies focus that Sot and Bonnet do.
What are we rolling?
Yeah, what would the dice be?
Ooh, let's see. I would say insight and science, or insight and medicine. Because with Sot it would be more medicine. I know he'd probably process it that way. Same for Councillor Sax. But if it's just Bonnet and Sot, then yeah, either medicine or science will do.
I think Salt should lead.
Sure.
Probably with hello fellow ethics.
Exactly. Off to a good start.
Oh, hello. There's a really good one. Further success. Alright, 4. That's not bad at all. So yes, you hang back a little bit just to get a good look at how their body language works, so that you can try and mimic it yourselves. But of course, there's more to behavior and culture than there is just to language and how you walk about the place. So you do need to get in amongst the folks and start chatting in order to get an idea of how their language works, how their cultural norms also operate. And you do that very successfully. The combination of the prosthetics and your cultural studies, particularly Dr. Zot's, means that you do ingratiate yourselves very well into the area. And so what you learn overall is that they've become a very agrarian society. They refer to themselves as northerners, which makes sense because they are at the northern part of the continent. And they also mention that there is another village to the east and south of them, which suggests that they do visit and or trade with these other villages. There aren't that many animals compared to the size of the place. There's a lot of small animals about that are being used as either a food source or can supplement a food or such. But yeah, there aren't as many actual animals as you would expect, which could be again down to whatever calamity visited this planet to make it a planetoid. But the one main thing that you do notice is that there is a single individual. Almost all the ethics are not wearing clothing as such, except for one. He's got maybe an inch or so on everybody else, but he is denoted mostly by wearing these bright blue robes, I suppose, sourced from local plant fibers. A couple of Ithic citizens here and there have got plant fibers clothing that they wear as well in places, but mostly it's all very standard earthy colours. But this one, who is currently talking with another member of his people, definitely seems to suggest that he's someone important and is currently making notes on what appears to be some kind of notepad. And he's scribbling it in a very rough and primitive version of a pencil. So, unless there's anything specific you guys are looking for, that's all the information you have got. so far, unless you want to ask anything specific. Okay, I will take the silence as a we're not sure, we don't know yet. So, for the moment, the planetoid away team have managed to make successful contact, and as such have got a better idea of who and what they're dealing with here. Off in the near distance is also the sign of what could have been at one point a tall building made out of industrially furnished metals. So we're definitely talking something that looks like a fallen down skyscraper in the near distance. So it certainly seems as if they had a thriving industrial civilization at some point. It's just that for whatever reason, they have now, due to likely calamity, have reverted back into a just about pre-industrial civilization with a single town leader. As for the rest, well, we will see what we can't investigate and find more out about next time. But, of course, we have a more pressing concern with what happened to the comm relay team on the artificial satellite, and why that team is now no longer signing in. But we're going to have to trust to our away team to try and uncover that out, which will, I am afraid, have to wait until next week. Which will actually be Groundhog Day, as it turns out. So, next half of the episode might end up repeating itself a couple of times before we finally finish it. Nope, just for me? Okay.
I got it.
It obviously wasn't that good. But, yes, if folks are around for the 2nd of February...
Should be.
Yep.
Should be fine.
Then we should be able to hopefully finish up what is actually found on the planetoid, and whether the probably on the artificial satellite, and those who have beamed down to the planetoid can maybe have a good old look at what might have happened in the distant past to have wrecked this planet's ecosystem and reverted them from an industrial to a pre-industrial society. But that will have to wait, I am afraid. So, unless folks have got any questions, comments, or concerns before we call an end to this session, then I will say thank you very much to my players here for being as great as usual, and, although there might be some kind of recompense needed for that rather long diatribe about the anti-grav's scooter.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be Monty's next science project.
Which we'll have to wait for a couple of weeks yet before we can get there, but yes, then we can have a good old serious look at it. But until then, we thank you all for watching. If you did watch during the stream, thank you very much for doing so. If not, and you're watching this on YouTube, and you liked it enough to give us a like, then feel free to, because it doesn't just help us, it also helps everybody who has to relate to the algorithm. So, we wish you all the very best and ask you to do like the Vulcans do, which maybe in this case is actually care more about the people that you're leaving behind than about some science project with an artificial satellite, even if it is made out of neutronium. But to definitely live long and prosper, and to engage in infinite diversity in infinite combinations. This world continues to be chaos and weird, particularly with what's been going on recently, but hopefully everything will work out fine in the end. Just like Star Trek teaches us, be optimistic about the future. So in that regard, thank you very much for everybody who watched, so we will see you when we see you next. Hailing frequencies are now closed.